Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mortal Kombat Onslaught is finally here. So today I'm going to give my first impressions of the game, see what game modes there are, see what characters we can unlock early in the game. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the game. Let's see what the tutorial has to offer here. Now, I'm not going to show you guys all of the cutscenes and the storylines. I'm going to let you discover all of that for yourself because there are going to be some players that would prefer to skip that. But looks like we do get to start out with some familiar heroes here. Sub-Zero, Katana, Cage, and Sonya. Let's see what they have. Oh, they're going straight away. Okay. I thought this was going to be more like a turn-based type thing, but obviously not. They're just running off doing their own thing. Okay, looks like Katana's got her special up, so we got to move this around to target the enemies. Let's see where we can put this. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. I completely missed everybody there. That was an absolute shocker. But that's right, we'll get it right next time. Don't you worry about that. So the first thing that we did learn here is when it comes to your character setup, you've got to really make sure you put them in the right position so that they are attacking where you want them to attack right from the start of the battle. Also, any of your ranged characters, make sure you put them on the back line so they're a little bit more protected from the enemy assault at the start of the match. So what I do know about this game is each character has its own particular use in the game. So putting together a particular type of squad to overcome any given battle is going to be vital, but you just never know what characters you're going to unlock at any given time. So to start off with, I guess we're just going to have to deal with whatever characters it gives us. Now, I don't know if these are going to be our freebie characters at the start of the game, because it does seem like a pretty decent squad. But it might also just be the team that they give you just to showcase the start of the game there as we take Goro out of the picture. So now we're just cleaning up these last couple of guys here. Oh, do we get a fatality or something in this game? That seems pretty cool. Oh, yep. He's gone. He's gone. Off with his head. Fatality. Thank you, Sub-Zero. Obviously not as polished as the console games, but we'll take it nonetheless. So now we skip through to Scorpion's story. He is the first character that they give us here. So it's just taking us through, giving us a bit of a look at the abilities and things like that. So let's just skip through to our first battle with Scorpion here. Now, it's also given us 3 generic NetherRealm fighters, which is more what I expected for the start of the game. So here it's just going through how you position the different characters. Obviously want more of our melee type characters at the front than our supports and ranged at the back. So that way they are protected by our frontline fighters. Now, based on other games of a similar sort of genre, one thing that I know is when you do start to upgrade some of these fighters, the generic ones tend to be worn out pretty quickly. You're not going to use them once you start getting some better fighters in there. So don't pour a lot of resources into them if you don't have to, because you may not have a lot of resources at the start of the game to start building multiple characters as it is. But you never know, NetherRealm Studios may have a different strategy in mind, and some of these generic characters may actually be decent down the track once you do start upgrading them a little bit. But for the time being, I'm not really going to put any resources into these guys. I'd much rather wait and see if they are going to be useful down the track, and then I might upgrade them at a later point. Now, if you have been playing this game in the beta and you do know whether these characters are good or not, or any of the other generic characters in the game, just pop down in the comments whether or not it is worth upgrading some of these guys, just so that we can bring that information to everybody else. Because I assume at the start of the game, you're going to be able to build the roster pretty quickly. So you don't really want to be investing in characters unnecessarily. But if they are good, then you've got them at the start, so why not start building them up? Okay, so that's our first victory done and dusted. So let's have a look at some of these upgrades. I'm sure they're going to get us to do something here. Now you might notice that the 3 stars of this battle are based on different objectives, such as the affinity of the fighters that you're using in the battle. So it does look like you will need a variety of fighters in your roster to be able to use at different times, so that you can actually get the 3 stars on each battle. When you're just starting out in the game and you don't have some of those fighters, what you're going to do, just take the 1 or 2 stars. You can always come back to those battles later, so don't get too discouraged if you don't have the right fighters to start with. Okay, so this is a pretty cool little feature. At the start of the battle, if you do need to upgrade some of your characters, you don't have to go all the way out to the home screen. You can just hold down the icon and bring up their profile. Then you can level them up, add gear, upgrade their abilities, all those kinds of things. So again, a really neat little feature that I haven't seen anywhere else before. We can do a bit more of a deep dive into equipment at a later time. But one thing I do notice there is this is part of an attack set, so you'll need 4 pieces of equipment of the attack set to unlock a few other bonuses. So we're going to have that kind of a mechanic within the gear in the game. So I'd say things like speed, things like crit rate, crit damage, health, all those kinds of things. You can modify your characters in a certain way depending on the gear sets that you have. Another thing that I will say when it does come to gear is don't start upgrading some of the white and green gear that you might get in the game, because they're not going to be the best gear pieces. You're going to get much better ones later on. So why upgrade the rubbish gear when you can save all of those resources and upgrade the decent stuff as you get them? But back to the battle, and we are absolutely ripping through things here. It's fairly easy to kind of get an idea of what the game wants you to do. So let's take a look at some of our other features. It's going to give us our first summon here. Let's hit the button. Let's see what they give us. First free character of the game from the summons. Who's going to emerge from the portal? That's Shao Kahn. Well, that is an impressive first character that they give us. Generally speaking, these summons like to give us the same character as the first pull, so they keep everything consistent. But that's a 5-star character that they've given us here. Can you guys let me know in the comments below, did you get Shao Kahn or did you get somebody else? Was I just really lucky and managed to pull a 5-star character right from the bat there? I'm not usually that lucky, so I'm going to say that that was what it was meant to be. But let's have a look at some of our other rewards. Looks like we've got some pretty cool daily rewards happening here. Lots of free stuff that we're going to get at the start of the game. Got some more of those orbs, so we'll be able to summon some more characters. Again, more free stuff here. Let's claim that. Let's get some upgrades happening here. We've got 2 decent characters to start off with Scorpion and Shao Kahn. The makings of a good team. Now we've got the special summons here that take some of those blue orbs. I'd say they're going to be a little bit harder to get. Now let's have a look at our free daily summon. Who's that going to be? I don't think we're going to be so lucky to get another 5-star character here, but you never know. We got Jax. Okay, so that's 3 named characters that we've got. We can start doing away with some of those generic ones that we had at the start of the game. We can start upgrading some of these guys here and build a proper team around them. Now we do have a number of other summons that we can do here. This is for your relics. So I'd say they would be pretty important as well as far as developing your characters. This one here, so this one costs 25 of those orbs. We don't have enough for that one yet anyway. This one here, the apprentice summon, only 10. What's the difference between these 2 here? Obviously there's a cost difference, but what do you actually get for those extra orbs on the fighter summon? I might just try and get some extra orbs here, then I'll come back and I'll do a couple of summons so we can do a few of them in a row. Alright, so I've done a few upgrades here. We're going to have a look at some of the other content here. I'm going to have a look at the boss battles. I don't think I'm quite strong enough to really take on the arena just yet, so I might come back to that. Hopefully with 4 proper characters, not any of the generic ones. So let's start out here. We might take on Goro first, I think. Okay, now here's an interesting piece of information. You've probably seen this mechanic in a few other games, but just so you can try and get an advantage over your opponent. So blue will be better against red, red better against green, green better against blue. So when any of your objectives are talking about having a fighter of mind, body, or spirit, this is what it's referring to. You've also got the different classes of the characters there, which are going to be important as far as your objectives are concerned as well. Now here's a quick look at our opponent for this one. I don't think the first one is going to be too hard to beat, you would think, but you never know with some of these games. Sometimes they like to throw you in the deep end pretty quickly when it comes to boss battles. I have seen a few things from people who are playing this in the beta where some of these battles can get pretty difficult, and you're really going to need certain fighters to have a better chance of beating it. However, I don't know if down the track, if you just developed your characters to a really strong point, that you might be able to beat them regardless. But I do actually kind of like that you need to develop different characters for certain strategies to beat different levels of the game. It does mean that you have to invest in a few different characters so that you can't just kind of pick your 4 favorites and just use the same ones. They're not always going to be effective in every single battle. But it looks like even on level 1 here, Goro is really going to start pounding into us here. Hopefully we can just get a little bit of an edge and take him down. So what's he doing here? We're able to chip away some damage while he's on the ground. Is that what we got to try and do? Get him on the ground so we can damage him? Not too sure at this stage, but as long as his health bar is going down, I'm happy, because that means we're going to beat him. But both of those boss battles that are available at the moment with Goro and Quan Chi, both are for different types of gear. And as you go up the ladder, you're going to get better types of gear, so you're not just getting all this white or grey gear, as some people call it. Most of that type of gear is only going to be used to upgrade the better gear down the track, so don't really worry too much. I wouldn't try and put a lot of that grey gear on characters. You should be able to at least get some green gear pretty quickly. Now that Goro's gone out of the screen, I can't use that ability just yet. Got to wait for him to return. Alright, let's throw a couple of arrows into him there. Jax didn't survive this one. I haven't quite put as many levels on him just yet. I did try and upgrade Shao Kahn and Scorpion a little bit further and didn't save enough of the XP to be able to upgrade Jax. But we are getting the upper hand here. Goro is nearly finished, but he's breathing fire. I haven't seen Goro breathe fire before. I know that Kintaro had fire abilities, but I've never seen it from Goro. But you know what? That's what they're throwing at us. That's what we got to deal with. Shao Kahn and Scorpion get the job done there for me. Only 2 stars. We can always come back later and try and do that one a little bit faster. Now I want to come back here. We've got a few extra orbs here that we can start doing this. I've worked it out, the difference between the apprentice and fighter summons. The apprentice summon has a chance of getting both fighters and relics, whereas the fighter summon is just the fighters. So if you're not really trying to get any of the relics at the same time, then you'll want to do the fighter summons. If you don't mind getting relics or a fighter, early on in the game I'd probably advise doing the apprentice one, because these relics are also a big part of developing your characters, can make them quite a bit stronger if you can get some of the better ones there. So let's hit up our first apprentice summons. Here we go. Now, if it turns purple, does that mean we get something good? Oh, this does look good, actually. That's Shao Kahn's hammer. Yeah, that's the Wraith Hammer. That's a very good relic, and I've got Shao Kahn for it to go with. That couldn't have been a more perfect draw to kick things off here. So let's see what else we get here. Our next summon, it's gone kind of grey, so it's not going to give us something very good by the looks of it. We've got some boots. That's another relic. I suppose we could use it, but it's not really going to be one of the best things that you can possibly get. So next summons, what have we got here? And we're turning blue, so it is going to be something okay. Oh, it's Quan Chi. He is my absolute favorite villain in the entire game. So I will definitely take Quan Chi every day of the week. That's a 4-star character. So we're doing pretty well off our summons so far. So now we've actually got the makings of a pretty good team. I'm going to do a couple of upgrades. Then we'll finish this one off with a look at the arena. See how we go there. So the first thing that we've got to do is set our defensive team. Make sure you're constantly updating this because you don't want to have your attacking team doing really well and then you keep losing rank without realizing it. Go into that defensive team, constantly make sure that it is the best team that you can possibly have in there that's going to withstand some of those other attacks. Now, obviously, the best strategy with the opponent is to always pick the weakest one that you can find there. The arena ranking points are the same no matter who you pick, so you might as well pick a battle that you're going to win rather than one that you could possibly lose and then start to drop rank. Now at this stage, I'm not sure if there is an arena meta that you might want to work towards. I am doing this completely free to play, so whatever characters I get are what I'm going to run with. If there does turn out to be an arena meta and we can unlock those characters, I'll definitely start working towards putting them in the arena. But for now, we've got 4 characters we can start the game with. That's what I'm going to roll with for now. They do seem to be doing a pretty decent job on this team that I'm up against, so I should win this battle. We're all going to start to team up on Aaron Black there. Looks like he's got 2 versions of Aaron Black in this particular team. So my thoughts on this game so far, I am enjoying what I've seen so far. I am a very passionate Mortal Kombat fan, so I'm looking forward to unlocking all these characters and leveling them up, seeing what I can get out of different teams. And with Mortal Kombat 1 only around about 6 or 7 weeks away now, we could see a whole lot of other characters coming into this game really soon with a whole bunch of new game modes. There's so much that this game could potentially do. Let's hope that the devs see this through so we can really get some enjoyment out of it. But that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget, like and sub. You know the deal. We got plenty more Onslaught coming your way. Don't miss out, and we'll catch you in the next one.